Well, Mikan, he was all-pro every year, and their two forwards were both on the second team all-pro. Slater Martin was really a good point guard. I think I would have fit right in. I'm Doyle Brunson, and I almost became a Laker in 1953.
This is the story of how the greatest poker player in the world was nearly part of the NBA's first dynasty. The Minneapolis Lakers were in the midst of winning 5 titles in 6 years, and they had their eye on a tall shooting guard from Texas.
Well, I grew up out on a farm, and there was really no way to get off the farm except through athletic scholarship. So I started playing as a kid. We had outdoor court, rusty from the rain. And when you shot, you had to allow for the wind and everything. But it made a pretty good sharpshooter out of me. And we practiced religiously, and I had a good high school career. We went to the state finals, and I was elected to the all-state team, and I also won the state championship in DeMoss.
In a football-crazed state, there was very little basketball coaching and no TV to watch the pros. Brunson had to teach himself the game.
I had to emulate what I saw other players doing well, and I would go in the gym and practice that particular skill until I was pretty good at it. When I got to college, I was 6'3", and I was a big guard. I might have been the biggest guard in our conference, but all that practicing really helped me. And I got to where I could shoot really well. I was all conference, and I was the most valuable player in the conference, voted, which I thought was really a good honor because a couple of my teammates were also very good. It was always my dream was to go play in the NBA. It was the Minnesota Lakers. They sent a scout down thinking I was a senior. I think you had to be graduated in order to play in the NBA then, or out of college. And they thought I was a senior, so they didn't talk to me. They talked to my coach, and they said that they were going to use the first pick in the first round for me. They were going to make a shooting guard out of me. And I kind of followed. I know George Mikan. There was a point guard, Slater Martin from Texas, and the two forwards, I think, were guys named Pollard and Mickelson. So I don't know who was in the number 2 shot, but that was the guy I was going to try to beat out, whoever he was. But right before my senior year, I was working at a gypsum plant right out of Sweetwater, Texas. A forklift came along and set down a big load of sheetrock, and it broke down at the bottom and started sliding. And I stepped in front of it like a big idiot and tried to stop it, and it just engulfed me. It snapped my leg like that. I looked down, my leg was sitting at an angle like that. I had to have the leg rebroken and had to have a bone graft on it. And I had a country doctor set it, the first operation, and it never got anywhere close to good again. And I'm lucky it didn't kill me. So that was the end of my basketball.
Brunson earned a degree, but soon found the 9-to-5 world wasn't for him. Along with then unknowns but eventual poker legends Amarillo Slim and Sailor Roberts, Brunson invented the modern poker circuit. It filled his competitive void, but came at a cost.
It was very dangerous back in those days. There were hijackers. I got robbed 5 times at gunpoint. The police, they would arrest you sometimes, and just make you pay a small fine, and then winning the money, you got to collect it, and then you got to get out of town without the robbers getting you. So it was exciting.
Brunson's success brought the underworld of poker to his front door.
I had won a poker tournament, and I had $90,000 worth of $5,000 chips that I'd forgotten about. And I got home and walked up to the front door, put the key in the lock, and I heard something behind me, and there came these 2 guys with pistols, So we're going inside. I said, no, we're not going to go inside. Do whatever you got to do, because my wife was there. And I took the keys, I threw them out in the yard. I had read this book about Titanic Thompson. He was an old gambler that had killed 5 guys trying to hijack him. And he wore a shoulder holster. And he would always fake a heart attack, and he would come out with his gun like this. I didn't have a gun, but I thought about that heart attack. So I grabbed my chest and I fell over. They didn't know what to do, So they went out, they got the keys, they opened the door, they drug me inside. The alarm went off, and this guy took the gun, started beating me, cut my eyes all up, and blood everywhere. My wife came down. They grabbed her. She turned the alarm off. The phone rang. The alarm company said, "That's an invalid code, ma'am, that you gave us. We should have alerted them, you know." And she said, "Yes, I know." And she gave them the wrong code again and hung up. They called back, and this time one of the robbers picked the phone up and tried to act like it was her. "Yes, this is Miss Brunson. Everything's okay." But now they realize the jig's up, so he jacks a bullet into it, comes running in there, and I'm on the floor, blood all over me. He said, "I'm going to kill you for what you've done." My wife came running and jumped in front of me and said, "No, don't kill him, kill me." And that just flabbergasted the guy. He didn't know what to say or what to do. So make a long story short, then they finally handcuffed us together, and they took what money I had and took my $90,000 in chip that I forgot about, and they left.
Just going in for a layup.
That's some hops there. You were getting up.
Yeah, I get jump. That was me as a freshman.
Which one on the left?
Yeah. In high school, I won all the meets. Never worked out. And Dean of Men came up and he said, "You know, we got a special invitation for you to go to this tournament of champions because this miler from UTEP can't go." And he said, "I know you're going to go up against these guys, but we're going to be proud of you, whatever happens." And I looked at my coach was sitting with me, and I looked at him, we both started laughing because I'd run second to this guy everywhere I went. And so I got to go to that meet. I won it, set a meet record. And that's actually the only major meet I ever won in college.
Brunson missed out on his NBA dream and playing with the Lakers, but ended up playing cards with the man who led the Lakers to a second dynasty.
I started playing with him in Los Angeles at the Bicycle Club. I got to be good friends with Dr. Buss, and I asked him, you know, I knew that he owned the Lakers, and I said, "You know, Jerry, I don't have any film of myself playing basketball." I said, I know that you know that the Lakers were going to draft me in Minneapolis. I was wondering, do they have any old clips of anything that I could get? He looked at me and he laughed. He said, "No, we throw them away after 50 years. I think I can't remember the exact figures. That he lost upwards of probably 50,000 or so. And I said, "Dang, Jerry, I'm sorry you lost so much." And he laughed. He says, "Well, don't worry about that, Doyle. I can do that every day for the next 30 years or something and still be okay. This is my way of spreading the wealth," he would say.
Brunson earned millions playing poker, won 10 World Series bracelets and 2 World Series titles, but his finest memories occurred on the court.
I mean, it was nice to win, but it didn't mean that much back then. It was just a way of getting people to come to Las Vegas to play poker. It wasn't like it is today where the bracelet hunt that everybody's on now and everything. I've only played 2 tournaments a year for most of my career, never realizing, you know, that it would be such an honor to have all these bracelets. You know, I accidentally won 10. And yeah, I remember when we were at the University of Arizona for the conference championship. I actually think that might have been the highlight of all my different highlights. I've had a lot, and outside of, you know, my family and the births of my children and everything, I think winning that game, I still remember vividly.
Cherry pop, soda flavor shiny